welcome everybody to the March 23rd, 2015 Echo and AT session. Today we'll have a presentation by Autumn Garza about the GoTalk communication devices and apps, and then followed by Ellen Holtzman, who'll be talking about a couple of the pieces that she presented earlier this year, and we're really excited to hear how these students are doing now. And if you have any additional questions for the group, please go ahead and ask. So in Echo, for those of you who are new, we do introductions. So I'm Canyon Hardesty. I'm the Coordinator of Community Education here at WIND and your Echo and AT facilitator.
I'm Wendy Alameda, the Project Coordinator for Water.
Mary Jo Cooley-Heidecker. I'm the Professor in Communication Disorders and a speech-language pathologist and audiologist.
Tom, the IT guy.
Giselle Knopf, Assistive Technology Associate. It's Monday, I got it now.
I'm Hannah Young. I'm a senior in the Division of Communication Disorders.
I'm Mary Ginsel, occupational therapist.
Go ahead, Gail.
I'm Gail Behauser. I'm the lead trainer and troubleshooter for today.
Perfect. Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Victor. I'm a speech-language pathologist with Bighorn County School District No. 1 and part of the ATPLC.
Great. Kirsten?
I'm Kirsten Doubles. I'm the Assistive Technology and Universal Design for Learning Specialist at the Minnesota Department of Education, and thank you for letting me join.
Great. Go ahead, Jane.
Jane Corsten. I'm a speech-language pathologist and an assistive technology resource in Kansas City.
Great. Ellen?
Ellen Holzman, speech pathologist, Fremont County School District 1 in Lander, Wyoming for middle school and high school.
Katie?
Hi, I'm Katie Harmon. I'm a resource teacher in School District No. 2, PLC member, and AT coordinator for my district.
Great, thanks for joining us. We have a couple of people whose video we can't see. Autumn, and I'll wait until we turn the whole platform over to you. We have TJ. TJ, are you there? Okay, well, we'd love to hear from you, TJ, but for now, we'll go ahead and put you on mute. Catherine?
Yeah, I'm Catherine Ewert. I'm an occupational therapy assistant for Albany County School District 1, grades K through 12.
Great, thanks so much for joining us. And Catherine, I hope that you know that we do have room. We have an actual physical room here at the College of Health Sciences that you'd be more than welcome to join us in person if you ever wanted to come over.
Thanks. I usually kind of run in and out and see kiddos while I'm trying to join and stay abreast to the info that you guys provide, which is really nice.
Absolutely. Well, we all understand that, but I just wanted you to know you're more than welcome to come join us if you wanted to.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
With that being said, I think that's all that has joined us. Just a reminder, you're going to hear me talking a lot about this. We're going to have an ECHO conference here in Laramie on August 3rd and 4th, so please share that information widely. We sent out the Save the Date card, and hopefully we'll have registration available soon. Any other announcements before we turn it over to Autumn? Gail? Okay, go ahead, Autumn. The floor is yours for training. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today and talk to you about our variety of devices for obviously a wide array of people. So I'm going to be talking about not only our GoTalk devices, but some of the other technology that we have available for not only children, students, adolescents, but also adults and aging adults. All the way, really all of our products are for any age range. And so I'm excited to share all of those with you. And then I'm going to spend a little bit of time at the end on our GoTalk Now app, because as I'm sure all of you are aware, things are moving so quickly in technology, so we want to make sure that we have something available for all platforms. So the GoTalk Now app has now been around since 2011. So for those of you who haven't seen it, I'm just going to spend a little bit of time on that at the end. So I'm going to switch over to my PowerPoint here and get started with the presentation. So here we go. So I'm going to be talking about our whole GoTalk family. And with the GoTalks, we're obviously enhancing not only language, but learning for students with special needs. So one thing I like to mention always when I show our GoTalk line of devices is just a nice quote from Anthony Robbins about communication. So the way we communicate with others and with ourselves ultimately determines the quality of our lives. So really here at Attainment, when we came out with the GoTalk devices, which our first device actually came out in 1994, we really wanted to give a voice to people who didn't have one. And so we really try here at Attainment to have something that's more on that low tech side that hopefully anybody can afford, that's going to help provide a voice to those who do not have one. So I'm going to start talking a little bit about Attainment's GoTalk line. Obviously, the GoTalks are extremely important for communication and vocabulary development. Hopefully you guys have seen a variety of our devices, but the ones I have on the screen are the 4, the 9, the 20, and our GoTalk Pocket. And for some of you, you may not be familiar, we also have the GoTalk Express 32, which actually allows you to link up to 8 messages together in sequence. So this was actually very monumental before those apps came out on the iPad, because it did allow students and adults to actually form phrases and sentences in sequence, and it also has a visual cue and lights up each message as it plays. So that is the black device called the Express 32. So who uses the GoTalks? Students with significant disabilities or multiple disabilities, students who are nonverbal, some students with fluidity issues, we have some students with learning disabilities, and of course this applies to adults as well. Many people use the GoTalk devices as an introductory tool before they move into using a dynamic display device. So a lot of times we also see the GoTalks being used as kind of a backup device. So those of you who have students who use PRC devices, or they may be using any sort of dynamic display by Dynavox, a wide variety of different tools out there. Sometimes GoTalks, very nice, inexpensive way, whether you're going to the beach or somewhere where you might not want to have that hardware with you, the GoTalks can be a nice backup resource. So there's a lot of ways in which you can use GoTalks. We see them used obviously as a communication device, but you can also use them as a very nice educational tool. So I'll be showing you some overlays that you can create that make you think of the GoTalks in a little bit different of a way. And one of those ways is to actually divide the cells so you don't have to necessarily change your overlays. So each cell within the GoTalk cells, and I'll show you the overlay so it makes a little more sense, would be corresponding to each level of the GoTalk. So we see that with higher functioning students when they're learning new vocabulary and different things related to various content areas. So that's one way we see the GoTalks used. Definitely aids, as I mentioned, the development of language and vocabulary, and it's a great way for students to be able to interact with their peers. Many people have asked, since iPads are becoming more and more popular, are GoTalks still needed? And we find that we're not seeing any sort of dip in sales in our GoTalks because they just are so essential, like I said, either as a backup method or just to have something that's inexpensive and a tool that they can use in any sort of environment. So we see GoTalks primarily used for expressive communication, where they can share opinions, share different thoughts. It's a way for students and adults to ask questions. But we also see GoTalks used for receptive communication. So a way to respond to a question or an opportunity for students to choose a response, maybe for an exam or a quiz. So if you're doing, some sort of literacy lesson and you ask, who's the main character in Little Red Riding Hood? They would have different choices that they can select. So we love the GoTalks for that reason. Again, great way to use the devices for both not only expressive but receptive communication. So this is just showing you kind of a little bit of variety of the GoTalks on the right-hand side of your screen. We have some smaller single message devices on display there, some of the GoTalk Ones and our GoTalk Cards and personal talkers. But I think people have loved the GoTalks because they're easy to use. Like I said, we try to make them affordable. So even, students, adults who find them, oh my gosh, $159, how are we going to come up with it? Maybe they can pool their resources together to offer something to their loved one or relative. The GoTalks are very durable. We've had customers call and say, oh my gosh, the GoTalk just went through the dishwasher and it's still working. We have people using our older models of the GoTalks from over a decade ago and they're still working. So they're very durable. They have great sound quality. We're actually working on a new line that we hope to launch in the future that's going to be even more sensitive to the touch. So I think currently they do a great job with sensitivity, but we're going to try to even make that better. The devices themselves are quite light, and as I mentioned earlier, they are a nice backup device to a dynamic display tool. So I'm just going to talk about some of the devices in a little more detail. I'm going to start with the GoTalk 4. So for those of you who maybe haven't used a GoTalk before, most of the GoTalks are going to have 5 levels. And so those 5 levels basically allow you to record new messages and change out your overlay. So this example is related to weather. So you can see on the overlay a picture of a raincoat, windy, cold, rain boots. And so those are 4 messages that you have available. And then, of course, you can change these messages out and record new messages for each new level. You will, however, see in that box, there's a white box that we see the name Don and the word hello. And those are what we call core messages. So those core messages are available on all of our GoTalks, and those messages do not change no matter what level you're on. So we call them core or essential messages that you want your student or the adult to have access to at all times. So we have a greeting, hello, and we have Don, the person's name. So, you know, you might put things in like, I have a question, I need a break, things that you want, you know, students or adults to have access to at all times. So very important to think about those core messages. In the GoTalk 4 itself, like I said, we have 5 levels for recording. So you can see for 4 messages, that's 20 total, plus you have the 2 core messages. In total, it's 4.5 minutes of recording time. Each cell generally gives you 8 to 10 seconds per cell. So as much as 8 to 10 seconds doesn't sound quite long enough sometimes, it's really quite a bit that you can record on each button. So again, the GoTalk 4 is usually an introductory tool where students start here and then they move into the 4 and the 20 as they learn more vocabulary and get more comfortable. One thing that I like about the 4, many people add Velcro and put tactile representations for some of our students onto the GoTalk 4 very easily because of the size of the cells. So you might even put a little bit of rubber for rain boots on the picture of rain boots. That helps with students with visual impairment as well. But the GoTalk 4 is a really nice way to introduce communication and again, sometimes have an object representation for new words or new things that students are trying to communicate. One other example that I like to give for the GoTalk 4, on the overlay, each button may represent a step in a task analysis on how to do a routine. So my example here would be a routine for the morning. Maybe your first button says get on the school bus. The next one says go to your locker, report to Mrs. Garza's class, and then the last one may say put your homework in your backpack. So that's just an example of how you may use an overlay in a different way to signify a task analysis to your student who needs additional instruction. Another example would be how to do something, in this case, taking care of your pets. You could easily put something in sequence with directions on how to do so for someone who may be struggling with routines or wanting to get a little more independent. Another overlay, again, could give instructions or directions on how to do something. And my example here is taking care of pets or getting ready in the morning. So another way you can use the GoTalks. One I mentioned already was responses for a reading group. Who is Little Red Riding Hood? What is Little Red Riding Hood all about? Maybe you want to talk about various characters. Who are some main characters? And you have Little Red Riding Hood as a response, Grandma, Wolf, and Mom, and ask various questions about the story. So very nice way, again, for receptive expression, or I'm sorry, receptive communication is having various responses available for your students for reading groups. So this is an example of an overlay I was trying to tell you about earlier, where you may actually use the GoTalks for educational purposes. In this case, we've actually divided each button, this is for the GoTalk 9, with different colors. And each color represents a different level on the GoTalk, so you don't have to exchange out the overlays. So this would actually provide 4 levels of messages. Level 1, your recordings would all be for the yellow words. Level 2, your recordings would all be for the blue words. Level 3 would be for your green highlighted words. And then level 4 would be this peach color here. So this is just an example, again, of how you'd use the GoTalk for an educational tool. In this case, we recommend maybe recording the definition of each word where it can become a study tool. And so here I have words like earth, crust, mantle, core, rock, oceans, and it can be more of an independent study tool for some students for educational purposes. So Again, we share these overlays, so if anybody's ever interested, you can always email me and I'd be happy to share this. But these are a really neat way, again, of not having to change out your overlays, and for those students who are higher functioning to use the GoTalk in more of an educational way. I love the GoTalk Pocket. We see it used a lot, not only for younger kids, but a lot in transition because students are out and about and needing something that's portable. And so the GoTalk Pocket, obviously the name came from hoping that it could fit even in somebody's pocket, but it actually has 6 messages and 5 levels that you can record on for a total of 30 messages. It's lightweight and small enough, as I said here, enough to fit in your hand or your pocket. And you can actually store your overlays in a pocket in the back of the GoTalk Pocket. So it's really nice. Here you can see we have different messages. It says want, drink, go, eat. But I see a lot of people using them for different community outings, whether it be getting on a bus, maybe going out to eat at a fast food restaurant. But again, great backup tool if you're using a dynamic display. And we see it used more and more in transition settings, but also with even younger students, even in early childhood or in elementary, who are using it in play groups for different settings and environments. So this is kind of what I was saying, ideal for community outings and perfect as a backup device for playgrounds and other outside activities. So our GoTalk Pocket we just dropped in price. It's $159. So again, we try to make our devices affordable, portable, and durable so that they'll last in any sort of environment. This is just a different type of device. We see these used a lot in centers with different groups who may obviously need some additional assistance or communication aids. And we see these used sometimes in self-contained classrooms for different choice-making activities. But the AT6, we just dropped these in price to $39, but they have 6 total messages for the Attainment Talker 6. Each of the messages are 2 inches in terms of the active area. You have 10 seconds of recording time on each message, but it's really great for sequencing. So again, you could do a very nice sequence of activities step by step on the AT6, or you can use these just for core messages that the student or students would use throughout the day. So again, I see these a lot for just different choices, whether it be for a literacy activity or what kind of snack would you like, and they have different choices. But a very reasonable product where you have 6 different messages to choose from. It could be used in a wide variety of ways. We have the same with 24 messages. Here, I just like to point out, obviously, some of our students wouldn't be able to read something that small or use that small of an icon. It's actually 3/4 of an inch is the active area, so obviously quite smaller than the AT6, but it works just the same way, and you get 10 seconds of recording time per message. But again, very inexpensive and a nice way to have a variety of different messages available for varying activities. You might use one row for food choices. You might use another row for different words or phrases for conversational purposes. But again, very inexpensive tool for 24 different messages. Attainment also offers this low-tech device called the Time Cue. It's just a message that's connected to a digital clock, so you can record a message and have it go off at a certain time. We see it most often used when you're trying to remind somebody that they need to take medication. Maybe you have a certain break during the day where your student, maybe for lunch or for recess, that they have to remember to go get something. But it's a nice visual cue. So in this example on your slide, you can see it's actually lunch, so we have it set for noon. But again, it's very great for a medication, different kinds of reminders that you can set throughout the day for your students who need that reminder. We see this one used quite a bit with older adults as well for taking medication, perhaps in a nursing facility or nursing home. And so again, this is under $20 and can really provide a lot of assistance to a variety of different users. This is one of my favorite inexpensive tools from Attainment Company. This is called a personal talker. 10 seconds of recording time. It's one message. But what we've included is, I don't know if you guys can tell, there's a little play button that's yellow. And you can actually, we include a black bumper. And you actually just place it on top of the play button. And for students who can't access, because of fine motor skills, the button itself, they can actually hit the outside of the device with their fist to access the message. And so it kind of works just as a large surface area, and they use it for introductory purposes. A lot of times I see these Velcroed on a wheelchair for a simple yes or no response, and they run for $12. So really nice way, very easy to change out messages and change out pictures, an inexpensive resource. But again, by adding that black bumper and not having students or adults have to hit that little button and be able to use the surface of the outside of the device, it really increases its usability, and we see it purchased a lot for different school districts and even up at nursing home facilities where we have older adults losing their voice, and they use this to communicate simple yes, no responses, or if they need to go to the bathroom or need assistance, they become very powerful tools. So this is what I was talking about with the bumper, just showing you a picture of a fist. Very easy to hit on the outside and access the message. And if you want, you can laminate the picture and just put it on the top. So a lot of people use a picture or a word or a phrase, but again, very inexpensive compared to other single message devices, and you can use it for a lot of different purposes. A lot of people also choose to use Velcro and mount it on door frames or different locations throughout their classroom. So we like to include that so you can use it for a variety of different purposes. This is another single message device. You can use this for a lot of different reasons, but it gives you 10 seconds of recording time, very inexpensive, easy to change out messages and photos. And again, might be a simple auditory cue or reminder, don't forget your backpack. It might be an introduction just to say, hi, how are you today? To be a conversation starter, but really a way to assist those who struggle with communication, to just have something ready, able to get started. And I've seen these actually used even, again, for fast food restaurants to put an order in, for some students that stutter and just wanted something prepared ahead of time. So a lot of ways that you can utilize the GoTalk One. Another device that I like to talk about is our talking photo album. This has 24 pages. Each page you can record on with 10 seconds of recording time per page. It's really fun to actually journal activities between home and school and share, when you go home for the night, what you did at school. And like I said, each page you can show something different, what you did each class period. We also see these used a lot with adults, sharing, reminding them about grandchildren at home, saying hi to grandma or grandpa in the nursing home, or just, ways to talk about family vacations or things that your family did together, and share stories for those who cannot communicate verbally on their own. So a lot of ways you can use the talking photo album, but this is one of our best-selling AAC devices. And again, you get 24 pages with 10 seconds available for each page. So a lot of ways you can use the talking photo album. Here's just additional ideas: share stories, step-by-step instructions, share personal information, give lessons on appropriate behavior. Some of our curriculum, we actually have cards that fit directly into the talking photo album for social skills. And again, very nice communication between home and school. So you can see quite a variety here that we have of single message devices. Here's the Express One. We actually include this with a glove that protects the Express One, but it's actually a 4x6 image that you can just hit with your fist if you want, or if you need to, you can push the gold button if you'd like. But 10 seconds of recording time, can be the word of the day. You can see here it's a menu, or you can give information about each student, but very easy. I see these on door frames in classrooms a lot. This is Mrs. Garza's room. This is what we're going to do today. Here's our vocabulary word today that we're going to concentrate on. So a lot of fun ways you can use the Express One. Before we even get into GoTalk, sometimes we just use our manual communication book. This is the personal communication book. This is 13 pages in total, but it's a very nice way to, again, do choice selection. It doesn't have any sort of voice output, but a lot of people, again, before they get into voice output, want a manual choice board. So this is a personal communication book that will fit in a pocket, a backpack, very easy, but it's nice to use this as a backup as well. We call it more of a manual system of communication, but there's various pages in here. And again, you can use them for different times of the day for different choice selecting activities. This is just to show you again, we have it color coded. Here we have snacks, toys, sports, and then they would have different pictures and different phrases that they can choose from. So a very inexpensive way to introduce a manual communication system. You can also separate the book into different environments. One other example we have is home, school, and a shopping mall. And then you can have different pictures and message choices for your student or your adult to choose from. This is just showing you a different example of the large communication book if you're looking for something a little bit bigger. But again, just ways in which the student or adult can select what they're most interested in. So if they want to say thank you, they can just point to thank you. If they want a small water, they can hit small and water and just point to those selections to communicate with others. So before I show you in the last few minutes here the GoTalk Now, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about our GoTalk Express. This is used primarily, again, it's a static display device, but it's used for those who need auditory cues or visual cues. So the Express is a little different than the other GoTalks because it allows you to have an auditory cue on each message. So you can record a 1.5 seconds of an auditory cue in each of the buttons if you'd like. And then you can also have the button record in its entirety for 8 seconds. So a lot of people, again, use these with switches. You can have 2 switches attached to the GoTalk Express. And so there's a lot of people who use it with step scanning. So it's quite advanced compared to our other static display devices, but a lot of people use it simply just for that auditory cue. Other people like the Express function, which allows you again to select up to 8 messages, and then they'll be played in sequence by simply hitting the play button. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about this before we move into GoTalk Now. But you can use the GoTalk Express just like a GoTalk. Instead of having 4, 9, or 20 messages, you have 32. So you can choose to use it just like you would any other GoTalk and just select the message that you'd like. Or you can put it in Express mode, as I mentioned, where you can link messages up to 8 together in sequence. And then the cool thing about it is that you can scan. So a lot of people ask, do you have a scanning device? And the answer is yes, we do with the GoTalk Express. So you can scan and, like I said, use it with up to 2 switches. So some new features we added, like I said, there's a nice visual cue where it will highlight every button as you select it with a nice red kind of highlighted color. The auditory cue, as I said, is 1.5 seconds. It is scanning capable and also headphone capable. So if you want the student to hear the auditory cue through headphones, they can, and then they can choose the message that they'd like to say. After they hear that auditory cue through their headphones, they can announce their message to anybody who's listening. So that's a really nice option as well. So we do have that headphone capability as well. And then, of course, that Express setting, it's so much easier now to do it with the app. But if somebody wants, like I said, you can pick up to 8 messages and then hit our lovely play button, and it will play those messages in sequence. So that's called the Express setting. We have the same type of page in our GoTalk Now app, which is called the Express page, which does the same thing and allows you to accumulate messages in an expression bar. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the app now. So I'm just going to switch screens and show you a video of actually a little kiddo utilizing GoTalk Now in the classroom. So this is actually the GoTalk Now in action, and I'm just going to go ahead and play that video.
GoTalk Now.
Go to school.
Eliana is very joyful. When she speaks, she's not very intelligible.
When Eliana first got to us, it was very difficult to understand what Eliana was saying. Eliana, can you please tell us, what is the weather today? And with the GoTalk,
Sunny.
It's wonderful because it gives her the experience of being able to express what she is saying and be very clear about it. Great work. What do we say, Eliana?
Push your brain.
Good job.
It's very easy to program. We had just gotten the iPad and didn't really know much about using it. And just after a very short lesson, we were able to build pages.
Here's your Mr. Potato Head.
And we can also create pages specific to different activities that we do.
What should we do first?
And it's really easy to program.
I want hat.
A hat. Okay, let's.
It took me about 5 minutes to just look at it and figure out what to do, and then I knew how to program it.
Yellow hat or a nice summery red hat. You think we want the red hat? Let's use our colors.
I think it gives her a nice way to communicate.
Red.
Will help her kind of create relationships with friends.
It's an interest point for all the kids. You can program in anything they're doing. Games,
I want ice cream.
kitchen play.
Lots of different fun food.
Eliana, I'm hungry.
Do you want ice cream?
Yes, I do want ice
It
cream.
helped all of them want to communicate with her more, overcome the barriers.
Was it fun?
So about a month and a half ago, we went to Florida. She really enjoyed the plane ride and staying in a hotel and swimming in the pool. Our speech therapist, Jennifer, helped us make a story so she could share that with the class.
We went to Florida in an airplane.
Eliana will be moving to Canada with our family. We're moving to Quebec and we'll be learning French. And then about a year from now, we'll be moving to North Africa. So maybe we'll put it in Arabic as well.
GoTalk Now, the future of communication.
So that was just showing Eliana's day at school using GoTalk Now a little bit. And so just something else I want to mention, you saw her using what we call our standard messages with the GoTalk Now, or standard pages. But you can also choose to use what we call our express setting, which allows you to, again, link messages together and use up to 25 buttons on a page. So there's really a lot that you can do with GoTalk Now, and that's kind of where Attainment has evolved from our static display devices and moving into the app for communication. So I hope my presentation today gave you a good idea of what Attainment has to offer in terms of low-tech devices, and of course including our new GoTalk Now app. But I really want to thank all of you for allowing me to speak today. And I really enjoyed presenting, and I hope you learned a lot more about what's out there in terms of low tech for both students and adults who need assistance in communication.
Great. Well, any questions for the room or in the virtual room? Go ahead,
I had
Mary.
a question. My question was on the volume, how loud they get. I was working with someone who, when they go to a restaurant to order something, their iPad is not loud enough when it's a lunch rush or there's other noises and things. And so I wondered how loud these get.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say the GoTalks themselves, like the GoTalk 4, like the GoTalk Pocket, those actually, the volume is great. It's very high quality and it works very well in those settings, which is why I think a lot of people do use them in those type of situations, more for those community outings, because the volume is so great. Unfortunately, with some of more of the single display or the single message options, like our GoTalk 1 or our personal talker, because they're so inexpensive, unfortunately, there's not a volume control. So it's kind of as is, and you're paying, $12 for the device. So it's not going to have that volume control. But the GoTalks, like I mentioned, the GoTalk 4, the GoTalk Pocket, all of those are extremely appropriate for those kind of community outings and loud situations where you may kind of need that volume.
Thank you.
That was a great question. Are there any other questions?
Go ahead, Gail. I'm unmuting you.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for mentioning all of the educational uses for the GoTalks. My personal experience with them lately is for some people who really need that help in sequencing the steps of a particular task, and for me particularly in a supported work setting. We're using different GoTalks for different task completions in the work setting. So that was a really, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to think of all the ways you can use GoTalks, or we may forget certain ways. So we do try to obviously give pointers or, assistance a little bit. We get a lot of calls saying, well, what else can I do with the GoTalk? So of course, you want to make sure that you're covering all of its uses, because there's really a lot of different ways you can use these devices.
Great. And Autumn, if people have questions, I know that I have your contact information, but it's actually not on any of the PowerPoint. Would you be okay, or is there a specific email you'd like us to put on the PowerPoint so that when these get posted and this recording gets posted, if people want to contact you, they can?
Oh, of course. Yep, I would actually, I'll put this, let me just share. I'm going to switch screens so you guys can see my contact information. It's just my first name, Autumn, at attainmentcompany.com.
Okay.
And hopefully, let me just get some assistance here. I'll switch so you guys just have it on your screen. So I don't know if you guys can see that there, but it's just, again, Autumn at attainmentcompany.com.
Great. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Autumn, for joining us and giving us all that helpful information. I think it's great that you've been able to join us. And know that you are more than welcome, if you want to stay for the rest of the session to see the cases, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and these will be posted on iEcho as well as the recording in about a week for individuals who aren't able to attend the session to access your information as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
So if you do me a favor and stop sharing your screen. Perfect. We'll turn the floor over to Ellen to give us some follow-up on her ECHO case ID 4249 and ECHO case ID 8588.
Great. Which one do you guys want me to start with? Any in particular?
Nope. Whichever one you want to start with is fine.
Okay. So let's go with the 4249.
Okay.
By the way, it was really great information that you guys shared. It was tons and tons and tons, and so we're kind of whittling our way through that. So after we had the Project ECHO and then his IEP in the fall, we got to enroll the student in Bookshare, and then we also completed the paperwork for NIMUS. He's using a Chromebook. He's got a portable mic with a headset, read and write app, and co-writer. And right now, I think the thing that's the coolest is he's able to just go online and use the ebooks from Bookshare to be able to look at the literature books that he's doing in language arts, and then also his textbooks. We even got him to upload his math textbook, and so that's huge for him. One of the things he still likes to